Okay, I want you to just step back for a moment and think about the state of social media right now.
Mm.
It feels loud, doesn't it? It's this constant barrage of dances, these, perfectly polished templates, and often the same buzzwords screamed by 50 different coaches.
Oh, yeah. Overwhelming.
It is. You scroll for 5 minutes and you feel exhausted, but you also feel like you didn't learn a single memorable thing.
Right. Nothing sticks.
And that noise, that chaos, that is exactly why we needed to do this deep dive. Because the sources we've looked at, they promise a clear path out of it.
A different way of thinking.
A completely different way. They call it disruptive social media. And it's a strategy that promises not just, going viral, but building long-term scalable influence.
Which is what people actually want.
Exactly. So our mission today is to figure out how to start just blending in and start strategically, well, breaking the feed. We are moving beyond hacks and into a real foundational strategy.
And it's a strategy that has some serious academic weight behind it, which is why it's so compelling. We're really looking at the application of Clayton Christensen's disruptive innovation theory, straight out of Harvard Business School.
Mm-hmm.
And the power of this framework is that it doesn't just look at how businesses grow. It challenges the fundamental assumptions about what growth should even look like.
So it's not just a new tactic, it's a new mindset.
Completely. It tells you to stop competing on the same crowded playing field entirely.
That sounds like a tall order, especially for content creators. But the source material gives a clear roadmap for taking this high-level strategy and translating it into actual content system.
Yeah, practical application.
We're going to unpack what disruption really means in the digital world, focusing on human psychology and how to build systems that last. Okay, let's unpack this.
To really apply this, we first have to, strip the word disruption of its current buzzword status.
Right, it's used for everything now.
For everything. But as Christensen defined it, true disruption is not about creating the absolute best, most expensive, or most improved product. The source calls that the better Ferrari trap.
A better Ferrari. I like that. So it's not just making small improvements.
Exactly not. Think about the established market. They're constantly trying to improve their premium product for their premium customers. But in doing so, they inevitably overserve that high end.
They make it too complex.
Too complex, too expensive. And this leaves a massive strategic hole at the low end of the market. Or, even worse, it totally ignores people who can't access the premium product at all.
And those ignored people, those are the non-consumers. That's where the opportunity is.
Precisely. True disruption comes from focusing all your energy on those non-consumers. The people who find the established stuff too expensive, too complicated, or just inaccessible. So the disruptive path is to create something simpler, more accessible, and really powerful for that overlooked group. It starts small, but it grows and eventually takes over the whole market.
Yeah, you can see this pattern play out over and over again. Let's look at the classic examples because they make it so clear. Take Netflix. When they started, they weren't trying to compete with movie theaters or cable companies.
Not at all.
They mailed physical DVDs to people who Blockbuster basically ignored. The person who just wanted to watch a movie at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday without a hassle.
Without the late fees.
Yeah.
They served that neglected utility. It was good enough, but the convenience for that specific person was revolutionary.
Meanwhile, Blockbuster kept building bigger stores.
Focusing on their premium customers, and they just completely missed what was growing right under their feet.
And the same thing with Airbnb, right? They did not start by competing with the Four Seasons.
Definitely not. Their first product was literally an air mattress on the floor.
For budget travelers, for students, people that traditional hotels just saw as, well, not worth their time.
Or look at Square, which the source uses as a perfect digital example.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't go after the big banks or the payment systems for major retailers. They gave the ultimate non-consumer, the small artisan, the farmer's market vendor, a ridiculously simple way to swipe a card.
With just their phone. They democratized payments.
They did.
So the big takeaway from all of these huge successes is that they all started small and underestimated. They targeted a fringe group, and by delivering extreme simplicity, they ended up rewriting entire industries. That's the thing to internalize. The starting point is small, but the outcome is revolutionary.
And now, if we take that powerful idea and we apply it to the social feed, we immediately run into what the sources call the social media trap.
Okay.
Most creators are just stuck chasing those mainstream vanity metrics followers, likes, the perfect aesthetic.
They're all trying to build a better Ferrari.
Exactly. The sources call that activity desperation, not disruption. And why? Because you're spending all your energy competing for the attention of the established consumer, the one who already follows 500 people just like you.
You're just adding to the noise.
You're part of the noise.
So disruptive social media, it flips that completely. It forces you to stop looking at your competition and start looking at the overlooked audience. And it asks two core questions. First, who is being actively ignored or underserved in this feed? What voices, what identities, what truths are just missing from the conversation in your niche?
And second, and this is key, how can we radically simplify what feels overwhelming or complex so that more people can actually succeed or feel included?
So it's about lowering the barrier to entry.
Whether that's a financial barrier, an emotional one, or an educational one, yes.
This is where it gets really interesting because it requires a real mental shift. The source confirms this isn't about getting on that hamster wheel of pumping out 30 trending reels a week.
No, that's just a recipe for burnout, and it keeps you stuck in that better Ferrari competition.
The real disruption comes from designing smart, scalable content systems. Systems that speak to human psychology, to identity, and to belonging. They're built for the long haul, not for a quick viral hit.
And when we say systems, we're not talking about complicated content calendars. A disruptive system is one that prioritizes evergreen utility over, whatever's trending this week.
So what does that look like?
Well, for example, instead of chasing a trending audio, your system might focus on creating 5 core pieces of content that solve a problem for your non-consumer perfectly. Then you just reuse or recycle those strategically. You're creating a toolkit, not a performance.
But I have to push back here a little. For someone trying to grow a business, doesn't focusing on the non-consumer, this fringe audience, isn't there a risk that your audience just stays too small?
That's a critical question.
Like you build this beautiful thing for just 10 people.
Right, but the theory has a powerful answer for that. The non-consumer niche might start small, but their need is intense, and their loyalty becomes magnetic.
Because you're the only one talking to them.
You're the only one. So they become evangelists. The model works because it creates this powerful, loyal base that eventually brings the mass market to you. It's a pull, not a push.
Got it.
And that moves us right into the 4 specific principles laid out for translating this into a digital strategy, the steps to actually build that magnetic system. First principle, which we've touched on, is to serve the ignored non-consumer. In the content world, that means creating for the misfits, the rebels, the beginners, who are tired of the cookie-cutter advice.
You're addressing their confusion, their actual problems.
Exactly. The second principle is simplicity over complexity. This is where raw, real, human content just consistently beats the over-designed, hyper-edited stuff.
Simplicity is confidence.
It really is.
Right.
Complexity is often hiding a lack of substance. Third is to iterate and improve based on what your audience needs, not just on trend data. And the source mentions some dynamic frameworks for this, like disruption archetypes and the heat scale.
Okay, let's pause there, because those sound like jargon. What are those tools actually for?
That's fair. The disruption archetypes are basically categories that help you define how you're simplifying things for your non-consumer. Are you the democratizer, making expensive things accessible? Are you the enabler, giving a beginner a simple path? It helps define your angle.
Okay, that makes sense. And the heat scale.
The heat scale is fascinating. It's a tool to track where your content sits on a spectrum, from raw simplicity to polished complexity. It's a way to make sure you don't accidentally slip back into over-polishing and leaving your core audience behind.
So it keeps your eyes on utility, not just aesthetics. And the fourth principle.
The fourth, which holds it all together, is to redefine the market. Stop competing in the noisy trend pool. Instead, you use your unique angle to carve out a category that is all yours.
When you serve a need no one else sees, you don't have any competition.
You eliminate it.
And we have some really specific, powerful examples that this works. Look at the faceless creators mentioned in the source material. These are people building multi-six-figure businesses by intentionally not being on camera.
It's pure disruption.
It's pure principle 1 and 2. They're serving the non-consumer, the introverts, the neurodivergent leaders, anyone who doesn't want to perform. And they're demanding simplicity. They're providing the utility of business growth without the high emotional cost.
Or think about the sarcastic health brands. The source mentions one called Glutes and Giggles.
Right.
They're succeeding because they saw a huge non-consumer audience that has totally tuned out the perfect wellness influencer. You know, the green smoothies, the constant moralizing.
We're sick of it.
They're so sick of it. Glutes and Giggles disrupts that seriousness with humor and relatability. They serve the person who doesn't need perfect alignment. They just need a laugh and a simple way to move their body.
They redefine the market from aspirational perfection to relatable effort.
Exactly.
And then there's the community-driven coaches. They're shifting away from those loud, high-pressure sales pitches.
It's a huge one.
They just prioritize real conversations and belonging. They're serving the person who's so tired of being sold to and is just desperate for real connection.
And that brings it all together. The key insight is that disruption isn't about being louder or shinier. It's about being different with purpose.
Different with purpose.
That difference has to be intentional, it has to be scalable, and it has to serve a previously neglected, really intense need.
And to really understand why this works so well on a psychological level, we have to bring in another concept from the sources, also from Harvard, the jobs to be done framework.
Oh, this is so powerful.
Right. The idea that people aren't just consuming content or buying products, they are actively hiring those things to solve a specific problem in their life.
People don't buy a drill, they hire the drill to make a hole.
Exactly. And when you look at social media through that lens, your posts are no longer just posts. They are tools being hired by your audience.
And if you can figure out the job they're trying to solve, you can make your content perform that job perfectly.
Yeah.
Sometimes that job is emotional. It's make me laugh on a hard day or give me a moment of relief. That's what Glutes and Giggles does.
Right. Or sometimes the job is psychological. Show me I'm not alone in feeling this way. That's the community coach or the faceless creator for introverts.
And sometimes it's purely practical. Give me a simple tool I can use right now to make this one thing easier. And if we connect that to the big picture, the reason this content works isn't because of its popularity. It's because of its unparalleled utility for the people who need it most. When your content successfully does its job for that specific ignored non-consumer, that is when it disrupts the scroll.
So what does this all mean for you, the person trying to build something real in this noisy world? Disruptive social media is a strategy that outlasts the trends. It outpaces the hacks, and it builds businesses that are human and scalable and magnetic because they are necessary.
They solve a real problem.
They solve a real problem. It requires showing up smarter, braver, and most importantly, different from everyone else who's still just building a better Ferrari for a customer who's already satisfied.
The goal is to build the first reliable car for the people who are still walking everywhere.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
And the final sort of provocative thought from the source material that should guide your strategy from here on out is this. Stop analyzing what the top 1% of creators are doing. Stop trying to copy them. Instead, focus all your energy on identifying the specific unmet job, emotional or practical, that your overlooked non-consumer is trying to hire content to do today. Find that gap, fill it simply, and you will begin to disrupt.